How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, this one of these long videos, popcorn video, things I've been telling the royal family that was going to happen. I'm a bit on the late show, but I have things present to show the royal family. So the video that I did with Diamond and Silk, I had said to the royal family that the Republican Party will be pandering to us. This election season is one that will go down in the history books. There is a lot of things that are going on in the universe. Let's keep on our frontal lobe. We are out of our captivity. Now, that's a process. I don't want anybody to think that I'm thinking, okay, we're out of our captivity. It's like turning 18 years old and bam, everything just supposed to pop open. Everything is a process. But I've been noticing some things that have been happening in real time that is quite astounding to me. And I will continue to point out. But we are going to, my royal family, focus on how the enemy is pandering to the royal family. And I want y'all to keep on your frontal lobe. They always put us in the worst light. Why would the enemy and the enemy supporters pander to the royal family? We're supposed to be the minority, a non-factor. Well, I got this article here in BET that was published 3 days ago, which is not long. Trump allies reportedly giving cash to black people who say nice things about the president. Lord, you talking about juicy. Trump's relationship with the black community has sunk to a new low. In fact, it's gotten so bad that the president's allies are reportedly resorting to pay black folks to support him. Resorting. According to political allies of Donald Trump, they have begun holding events in black communities where organizations lavish praises on the president as they hand out tens of thousands of dollars to lucky attendees. There was a cash giveaway in Cleveland in December, and another one was scheduled for Virginia, but has since been postponed. Politico also report the organization said the events are ran by the book and intended to promote economical development in intercities. But the group behind the cash giveaways is registered as a 501c3 charitable organizations. Marcus Owens, a legal expert on nonprofit law, told the outlet charities are required to spend their money on charitable and educational activities. It's not immediately clear to me how simply giving money away to people at an event is a charitable act. At the Cleveland event, one person dressed as Santa Elf and said 4 more years for Trump. Yay. She then received some cash. Lord have mercy. The White House reportedly declined to comment on this story. Make a fool of yourself. Whew. As we continue on, my royal family. This was 3 days ago. And I'll be pinning these articles because some of them is just way too damn long. But you see here, we see drunk Pastor Daryl Scott. That's what I always call him because he always seems like he 3 shades in the wind. Trump allies target African American voters with new tactics, cash giveaways. Okay, this one was posted on the 30th of January. Charity founded by Trump's allies plans follow-up cash giveaway events in Cleveland elsewhere. So I was reading through this, and they said a December event in Cleveland at which a charity founded by Donald Trump gives away $25,000 in cash in the first of a series of similar cash giveaways aimed towards the Black community plans for this year, according to event organizers. Okay, let me show y'all this. I'll get back over there. Let me blow this up for the world family. So this is how it looks. You got various speakers. The one that stands out is Geraldo Rivera. Don't give a damn about black folks. Wonder why Geraldo in on this. I got to think about that for a while. Is he one of the, no, he one of the spies. He go back and report to Trump. Do what he do best. Work on his knees, too. So we see what's going on. Lord, these pastors, these black folks, put some money in front of them and they act a complete fool. So as I was looking through this article, oh Lord, that's right. February, so-called Black History Month. So they're going to do something big. Okay, they plan to raffle off $50,000. Give a presentation. So when you get that money, you know, you got to buck real hard. I will put that article there for the royal family to read at their leisure. All right, as we continue on. So now we're going to go back a little taste. Trump reaches out to black voters. The reach out may not expand the president's meager support among African Americans, but it appears aimed at reassuring suburb white voters' discomfort by his use of racist tropes. And that article was back in November 8th, 2019. And I'm going to present some videos to the royal family how Trump and his these coons is getting down. So let's go on this journey here.
We start, though, with President Trump heading back to the White House just within the last hour after campaigning here in Atlanta today. In the last hour, President Trump finished a lengthy pitch to African-American voters in Atlanta, forming a campaign unit he's calling Black Voices for Trump.
And he spoke to a spirited crowd inside the Georgia World Congress Center. Doug Richards was in the room with him, and Doug joins us now live with details. Doug?
Well, certainly on the face of it, it would appear, at least based on conventional wisdom, that President Trump and African-American voters would be in ill fit, given 50 years of voting history and given a lot of polling data. But Trump and his African-American backers here in Atlanta and elsewhere who gathered here say that it is overdue for that to change and for black voters to actually start looking at Republican candidates, including President Trump, to actually examine what they've done for voters and to choose differently. Trump drew close to 400 people in a room at the World Congress Center, many of them colorfully dressed in gear emblazoned with Make America Great Again logos. They talked up the president's accomplishments in the economy and in prison reform. The president told the crowd that American cities run by Democratic mayors have eroded African American communities and have failed their people. President Trump also talked a lot about how the economy has roared during his presidency. He's also talked about initiatives to reform criminal justice, which has allowed a lot of nonviolent criminal offenders to come home and, as Republicans say, be home with their families by Thanksgiving. Many of them, of course, are African Americans. So the Trump pitch was pretty hard. It went for more than an hour here. He had a number of supporting cast members, African American businessmen and that sort of thing. And we will have more on that, and you'll actually hear from the president and some of his supporters tonight on 11 Alive News at 6. Back to you.
Doug, we will see you at 6. A lot to talk about. In the meantime, President Trump won Georgia by about 5% in 2016, with around 211,000 votes separating him and Hillary Clinton. An NBC exit poll found just 9% of African Americans in Georgia voted for President Trump in that election in 2016, with higher support among African American men than women. An NBC News poll from just last month showed 51% of overall voters in Georgia disapprove of the way President Trump is handling his job. That included 81% of African American voters. We saw protesters outside the Whitley Hotel earlier today in Buckhead, where the president attended a fundraiser for Senator David Perdue. The protesters carrying signs mentioning the impeachment inquiry into the president.
In just 12 days, Democratic presidential hopefuls will be here in Atlanta for the MSNBC debate. It's being held inside the Tyler Perry Studios on the Oprah Winfrey soundstage, and it is a nod again to the importance of the African-American vote in the 2020 election. Of the 17 Democratic presidential candidates still in the race, 10 have qualified to take the stage. November 20th, candidates have to fulfill 2 requirements to take part. They must have contributions from 165,000 unique donors, and they must be polling high enough in either early nominating states or national surveys. Coming up at 5:30, we're talking with 11 Alive political analyst Dr. Andra Gillespie about the president's visit today, the Democratic debate, and why Georgia could be a crucial state in the 2020 race. You can listen to the president's full speech today and find out more about
All right, my radio family.
Presidential candidates.
One thing that I failed to mention was that event was November 8th, 2019. All right. So, Lord. Oh, this is hard. So as we continue on, we're going to hear some folks at this event. Oh, Lord. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. Oh, our folks is gone.
Traffic jams clearing up tonight after several roads were blocked for President Trump's visit. Air Force One took off about an hour ago. The president now headed back to D.C. His visit here kicking off a campaign to appeal to African-American voters. 11 Alive's Doug Richards is live at the Georgia World Congress Center with a look at the message and how it played to Georgia voters.
Well, Jeff, the president made a pitch that sought to basically undo about 50 years of voting history and polling data that shows that African-American voters strongly tend to vote for Democrats. President Trump, of course, is not a Democrat. He's a Republican. And the folks in the room here basically didn't want to hear about that historic stuff.
I don't see anything that he's a racist.
And I like the fact that he cares about this country. He loves this country. He does not hate blacks. He does not hate illegals. He just wants them to do it correctly and legally.
African-American supporters of President Trump came from as far as New York and Florida to show their support for a new initiative called Black Voters for Trump. They see in Trump a president who has lifted their fortunes with a strong economy and released many imprisoned African-Americans with a prison reform program. The president told them Democrats have failed them and that they need to break their historic loyalty to the party.
It's amazing that you've stayed so long, to be honest. It almost becomes a habit, right? It's a habit. Like it's, oh, we vote for a Democrat. Nobody knows why they vote for a Democrat. Look, if they don't do the job, you switch. You got to switch.
It seems like every day he's attacked over everything and anything, and he just gets up, dusts himself off, and he keeps going on. So that's what I like about him. He's strong, not afraid.
So the president typically, as we know, likes to talk about his base. Many of his rallies tend to appeal to voters who already voted for him in 2016. This was clearly him stepping out of that box. He spoke to a much smaller room of supporters than he's accustomed to talking to. It was a spirited and very supportive room, but less than probably 400 people were in here. So the question is, this is going to be a marathon and not a sprint, and whether or not the president can activate what he's hoping to have started here into something that will kindle into greater African-American support between now and November 2016, Cheryl.
All right,
or excuse me, 2020.
Right.
What year is it?
It goes fast, doesn't it? 4 years goes fast. Thank you, Doug.
Lord have mercy. Did you hear what he said? There wasn't a lot of people in that room. So, you know, this was all last year. November. So, right away in December, they started coughing up them coins. So I found a very interesting video that many people did not listen to. 9 minutes of juiciness. Let's listen to this. Let me blow this thing up. This is quite interesting. The voice sounds a bit robotic, but information is juicy. Oh, Lord. Not this. I just played this thing. Let's see what's really going on. Let's see what's going on. Can we get it? Oh, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Give me a bit, my royal family, and what I'm going to do. Y'all hold tight. Y'all listen to this. Let me see, how long is this other one? Nah, that's not fast enough. We will just go on this journey where I got the information from. Let me see, is it still there? Yes, it is. Okay, now, let me see.
Revitalization Coalition, permitting donors to remain anonymous and make tax...
Wait just a minute. I normally like to... Let's try this again. Play it on Black Junction. Let's go back to Black Junction. Talking about it ain't available. Just watch the sucker. So let's take this one down. If not, I will take a chance and just play the sucker over on YouTube and see what happens. Okay, let's take this down. Let's see what we get. See if it will play. Okay, we're gonna publish it. Will it play? Let's see. Oh, wanna act like that. Let's see here. Let me do this one more thing. Bear with me, family. Forgive me, family. Let me try one more method. Okay, now we're gonna go back. Okay. Let's see what's going on.
Urban Revitalization Coalition CEO Daryl Scott at the White House in 2018. Andrew Harnick, AP photo.
Allies of Donald Trump have begun holding events in black communities where organizers lavish praise on the president as they hand out tens of thousands of dollars to lucky attendees.
The first giveaway took place last month in Cleveland, where recipients whose winning tickets were drawn from a bin landed cash gifts in increments of several $100s, stuffed into envelopes. A second giveaway scheduled for this month in Virginia has been postponed, and more are said to be in the works.
The tour comes as Trump's campaign has been investing its own money to make inroads with black voters and erode Democrats' overwhelming advantage with them. But the cash giveaways are organized under the auspices of an outside charity, the Urban Revitalization Coalition, permitting donors to remain anonymous and make tax-deductible contributions.
The organizers say the events are run by the book and intended to promote economic development in inner cities. But the group behind the cash giveaways is registered as a 501c3 charitable organization. One leading legal expert on nonprofit law said the arrangement raises questions about the group's tax-exempt status because it does not appear to be vetting the recipients of its money for legitimate charitable need.
Charities are required to spend their money on charitable and educational activities, said Marcus Owens, a former director of the Exempt Organizations Division at the Internal Revenue Service who is now in private practice at the law firm Loeb & Loeb. It's not immediately clear to me how simply giving money away to people at an event is a charitable act.
Asked about the legality of the giveaways in a brief phone interview, the Urban Revitalization Coalition's CEO, Daryl Scott, said that most gifts were between $300 and $500 and that the group mandates that anyone who receives over $600 fills out a W-9 form in order to ensure compliance with tax law. He did not respond to follow-up questions about how the giveaways were structured and whether they met the legal standard for a charitable act.
Scott declined to name the donors funding the effort. "I'd rather not," he said. "They prefer to remain anonymous."
Scott, a Cleveland-based pastor, has been one of Trump's closest and most prominent black supporters. He struck up a relationship with the real estate mogul in the years before Trump's presidential run and, along with Trump's former lieutenant Michael Cohen, co-founded the National Diversity Coalition for Trump to promote that run.
Since then, Scott became a regular presence in the West Wing. He has championed the Trump administration's criminal justice reform efforts, signed into law as the First Step Act, and the creation of Opportunity Zones. That program, passed as part of the 2017 tax overhaul, provides tax breaks for investment in certain urban and rural districts that are deemed in need of economic stimulus.
In July 2017, the Urban Revitalization Coalition was registered in Delaware, according to public records, and it began promoting the Opportunity Zone program in conjunction with administration officials and other Republican officeholders. Scott and the coalition's co-founder, Kareem Lanier, held a meeting with Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin in February 2018, according to Mnuchin's publicly released schedule, and the group held an event with Kentucky's then-governor, Republican Matt Bevin, in Louisville the following month. The group's earlier activities did not feature cash giveaways.
As Trump's re-election campaign ramps up its outreach to black voters, Scott has come on as a co-chair of its new Black Voices for Trump initiative, along with former Godfather's Pizza CEO Herman Cain and the YouTube video performers Diamond and Silk. The initiative, whose homepage asks voters to text WOKE to a campaign phone number, has been holding its own swing state events in recent months.
But a Trump campaign spokesman said the Urban Revitalization Coalition's events were unrelated to its own efforts, and that the campaign has no knowledge of or affiliation with these activities.
The parallel tour being organized by the Urban Revitalization Coalition stands out for its promise to shower cash prizes on attendees who listen to speakers promote the president's initiatives. The first cash giveaway took place last month. Another was scheduled in Virginia for Martin Luther King Day before being scrapped amid a dispute with the college set to host the event. Organizers say they plan to roll out a tour schedule featuring more events soon.
The group's Christmas extravaganza event in Cleveland last month featured a $25,000 giveaway and an appearance by Jaron Smith, a deputy assistant to the president. A Cleveland native who worked on Trump's criminal justice reform, Smith is among the highest-ranking black officials in the White House.
At the event, which also featured an appearance by television personality Geraldo Rivera, Lanier compared the investigative scrutiny faced by Trump to the plight of wrongfully incarcerated black men. He also defended Trump's record on race.
President Donald Trump, the one that they say is racist, is the first president in the history of this country to incentivize people who have the money to put it into urban areas, he said.
White House spokesman Hogan Gidley did not respond to requests for comment.
Charitable organizations can hold events praising and honoring public officials so long as they avoid supporting or opposing candidates in elections.
If they do it independently and it really is agenda-focused, not electoral, yes, that's permissible under campaign finance law, said Adav Noti, a senior director at the Campaign Legal Center, an election law watchdog.
But if a rally veers into electioneering, issues with campaign finance law can arise, experts warned. Determining when rhetoric crosses that line can be difficult. It's always a fine line, said Larry Noble, a former general counsel for the Federal Election Commission.
One recipient of the cash giveaway in Cleveland, dressed as a Christmas elf, declared, 4 more years of President Trump. Yay, after receiving her gift.
The more pressing legal issue raised by the event, and by plans for more like it, is the question of whether the cash giveaways constitute legitimate charitable activity.
Flyers advertising the Cleveland event said it was open to the public and that recipients must be present to redeem giveaways.
Video of the giveaway posted to Facebook by the Cleveland Plain Dealer shows Lanier announcing one recipient, Teresita Jones Thomas, then declaring, "She don't need the money. She do not need the money.
I ain't giving her the money. Her son plays for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA. She don't need the money, he said before hugging Jones-Thomas and handing her an envelope.
A LinkedIn profile for Jones-Thomas describes her as a senior director of accounting for a real estate management firm. Her son, Warriors forward Omari Spellman, is set to make close to $2 million this season, according to online sports salary tracking website Spetrack. Phone numbers listed online for Jones-Thomas appeared to be disconnected, and emails sent to a work address did not receive a response.
In the closing weeks of the 2016 campaign, efforts to depress black voter turnout were central to the Trump team's efforts, and he performed slightly better with that group than Republican nominee Mitt Romney did in 2012. This election cycle, Trump's campaign is making more concerted, earlier investments in black voter outreach.
While black voters are expected to overwhelmingly support the Democratic nominee again this year, if Trump is able to win over a small percentage of black voters in key states, or persuade some of them to sit out the election rather than vote against him, it could make a difference in closely contested races.
The election year initiative by the Urban Revitalization Coalition to improve Trump's image in black communities could bolster those efforts.
The coalition planned a Martin Luther King Jr. Day event at Virginia Union University, a historically black school in Richmond. Advertisements for the event said it would feature a $30,000 cash giveaway and would honor Trump as well as his son-in-law, senior White House advisor Jared Kushner.
But school administrators canceled the January 20th event, saying it had been described to them as an economic development discussion when it was first booked. In a letter to Lanier, University President Hakeem Lucas said the event advertised is vastly different from the event VUU agreed to co-host.
Scott told Politico that the school had initially begged him to have the event there. He said that the coalition intends to reschedule it at another venue at a later date.
Scott also said the group was planning to unveil a slate of additional future events and that he would reveal additional details. He did not respond to follow-up queries about the group's upcoming schedule.
Eye-opening. Amazing. And damn, only 29 people listen to this. Well, more will be listening to this. I don't normally copy from people's channels, but that's just a chance I'm going to take. So as we continue on,
supporters of President Trump have begun organizing cash giveaway.
Whoops. Let me get it set up. Good grief. Let me blow it up. It's only 45 seconds. Trump supporters give away thousands of cash at event in black communities. Okay, see, it's in the heel now. See, it's going to start to gain some steam. More and more people are finding out about it, but it was a slow walk, you know. So, I want to just play this video. Well, this audio, excuse me. More so audio.
Supporters of President Trump have begun organizing cash giveaways in major urban centers located in swing states in the hopes of winning African American support for Trump ahead of the 2020 election. Politico reported on Wednesday that the Urban Revitalization Coalition, a cadre of black Trump supporters who are active in business, political, and faith communities, is organizing events in states such as Ohio, where attendees will be enticed by cash giveaways as large as $25,000. The giveaways come despite the URC's status as a 501c3 charitable organization, which raises questions as to whether the giveaways constitute charitable donations or if they could run afoul of private lottery laws.
We shall see. Trust and believe. There's some folks gonna have some resentments about it. They're gonna look deeper into it. I would imagine other communities will be pissed off about it because they're going to question, why is Trump and his folks giving the African American community money in order for them to render their vote. And I said, my royal family, that they coming to us, but it's going to be even much bigger than just giving away cash. In order to hold the royal family's attention, ADOS, that's the next. Now, there's already ADOS scams running amok. And, people want us to jump hoops in order to get some money that we ain't going to get at all. So we have to watch for all of these different things. That this year is very pivotal. And anything that y'all see in your travels, email it to me. Relate it to this and this only, so we can stay abreast of the trickery and the games that continue to play with the royal family. We don't have no support. The Democratic Party long ago, has turned their backs on us. And the Republican Party is well aware of it, so they're going to pander to us. And they don't give a damn about us either at all. So we don't need to participate in any of this, because once they get what they get, they turn their backs instantly. We need to be very aware of how the enemy and the enemy supporters get down in this system. There is nothing new. So I'll leave it right there, my royal family. So render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, I say, let the games begin.